The famous Paul Teutul Jr. doesn't need an introduction. He's famous for making custom chopper-style motorcycles with amazing designs. He became famous thanks to the reality TV show American Chopper, which followed the daily operations of Orange County choppers. But what really happened between Paul Jr. and his father? Have they finally made up? Stay tuned, because you're about to learn all the juicy details about what happened between Paul Jr. and Paul Sr. and the heartbreaking tragedy of Paul Teutul Jr. Paul Michael Paul Teutul Jr. is an American reality TV star who was born on October 2, 1974 in the United States of America to Paul Teutul Sr. and Paula Teutul. He has two brothers and a sister. Daniel runs Orange County Iron Works LLC. Michael is the star of the reality TV show Orange County Choppers, and Kristen is a nurse. He started Paul Jr. Designs with his father and younger brother Michael, which makes custom motorcycles and sells branded clothing. Rose to fame after being on the Discovery Channel reality show American Chopper in 2002. Paul started working summers at his father's steel company, Orange County Iron Works, when he was 12 years old. In high school, he took part in a board of cooperative educational services program that helped him improve his metalworking skills. After graduation, he went to work full-time at Orange County Iron Works and eventually became the head of the railing shop. During this time, his father started spending more time with Paul. In 1999, Paul Teutul Sr. started Orange County Choppers because he saw his son's talent for metalworking and fabrication. It's no secret that Paul Teutul Jr. became famous after appearing on the reality TV show American Choppers. He was the main designer and fabricator for his father, Paul Teutul Sr. Before that, he was the head of the rail shop at Orange County Iron Works, but on April 9th he quit because of a disagreement with his father and business partner. In the April 30th, 2009 episode, he finally decided to quit his full-time job with the company. In later episodes, he returned to Orange County Choppers as a consultant to help build bikes while his father was away. That same year, he started Paul Jr. Designs and built a dog park in Montgomery, New York. In April 2010, TMZ said that he planned to start his own motorcycle company to compete with Orange County Choppers. But the next year, he started building bikes because they agreed not to work for anyone else in Orange County Choppers. He did compete on the Discovery Channel's new show American Chopper Senior vs. Junior with Orange County Chopper Paul Jr. Designs, also made two motorcycles for the movie Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows. Before Kim Kardashian dropped her earring in the ocean or any of the drama on The Real Housewives, there was a TV feud between Paul Teutul Sr. and Paul Teutul Jr. that quickly became a meme because it was so memorable. American Chopper got into the most heated argument in the show's history in 2008. They were arguing about Junior's constant tardiness at work, which happened in his father's office. During an episode of the 5th season of Friends with All Guns Bared, Paul Sr. ripped into Paul Jr. with all his might, saying that he shouldn't have to babysit his grown son. This made their argument go even worse, as Jr.'s lack of self-control is caused by his. Because Paul Jr. couldn't see the argument from his father's point of view, he and his father continued to yell at each other until Paul Jr. was fired from Orange County Choppers. The argument meme we know and love today was inspired by these last few moments, but the father and son are happy that their hurtful words are now making people feel better. According to a video posted to YouTube in 2018 for Discovery, the father and son couldn't fully understand why the meme became so popular. In the creativity of American Chopper, Paul Jr. and Sr. are often at each other's throats because they are both angry with each other. In the first season episode called Daytona Bike Week, their co-workers saw that they were in an argument as soon as Sr. walked in to check out the shop floor. There was already tension in the air, and Paul Sr. starts to wonder what was going on, which ultimately leads him to scold his son for speaking up. Jr. is focused on getting the details of his work right, while he and Paul Sr. call each other every name under the sun. Their co-workers leave, and the scene takes place outside, away from all the tension and bad energy. It does show Jr.'s more subdued side, even though it is just a normal argument between the two of them. When he talked to the camera, he admitted that he thinks his father sees him as a personal target, looking for anything that he might be lacking. Some of Jr.'s fans like how he can argue while he's working, and they also mention that he can keep his cool while defending himself. In an interview with the 700 Club, Jr. was able to talk about his relationship with his father and explain why it was time for him to leave the shop. He was able to do this because when the first season of American Chopper ended in 2010, it did so with a bang, and as you might have guessed, there was another argument. It all started when Jr. told his co-workers that Sr. was on his way to check out a new production bike. which meant that they needed to make sure the shop floor was clean. This information was revealed in the last episode of season 6 when Junior told his co-workers that Senior was on his way to check out a new production bike. When Paul Sr. arrived, he was already full of ideas for how they could make their product better, which Junior didn't like. But this time, the drama unfolds in a different way than the more physical and offensive arguments they would normally have. Instead, they were just talking about the family drama that had already happened in their lives, and Junior brings up the fact that they are no longer verbally attacking each other and throwing punches. Both of them get very emotional when they look at each other, but there is still a lot of tension going on underneath the surface because Junior thinks that his father's sudden appearance is a bit too coincidental. American Chopper Senior versus Junior shows their rivalry and also shows off Junior's own shop, Paul Junior Designs, which specializes in more than just motorcycles. The company's first shop was in the same part of New York State. As Senior's Orange County Choppers before it moved to Florida, Junior also started the Paul Jr. podcast in 2021, which he said on Instagram, "This is something I've wanted to do for a very long time." He also wrote the book Build, Designing My Life of Choppers, Family, and Faith, which came out in 2017. When asked about being fired from his father's shop, Paul Jr. said he was thankful. The father-son duo was famous for having different styles and were often seen fighting on Downman. However, Paul Jr. was fired in 2008 after an argument, which led him to start a competing company called Paul Jr. Designs. It all started when Jr. was late for work too many times. It had been one thing after another, and I'm not going to let him get away with this anymore. Paul Sr. said to his son, "I'm tired of babysitting you from 4 to 8. Everyone comes in at 7, and you walk in at 4 to 8. When will it stop?" Junior then defended himself. He told his father that he doesn't care because all that matters is that everything gets done around here. Every bike that needs to be made is made, and that everyone is always working. You know what? We're partners. If I wasn't participating, this place would be in ruins. It would burn to the ground, he said. After throwing a chair into his father's office, Paul Sr. fired his son in front of the whole staff and even sued his son for a 20% stake in Orange County Choppers, which he ultimately lost. The reality show was canceled after they broke up, but it wasn't long before a spin-off called American Chopper Senior vs. Junior was announced in 2010. In a 2017 Fox News article, Paul Jr. said that his firing led him to start Paul Jr. Designs because he wasn't allowed to build motorcycles for a year. The time away from building bikes helped me because working with my father had become so negative that I had lost interest in building bikes. However, leaving Orange County Choppers gave me the chance to create my own positive environment. My creativity took off, and I grew up as a man. For the first time, I realized what other people had been trying to tell me. My relationship with my father was unhealthy. He said, "Junior told people that he and his father did not speak for 10 years. It was a tough situation for both of us, and we were really at odds." He also said that it wasn't until 2018 that they worked out their differences and fixed their relationship. Since then, the two have tried to fix their relationship. They even tried to fix their relationship by relaunching American Chopper on the Discovery Channel in 2018. Paul Teutul Sr. said that working together was what broke up his relationship with Paul Jr., and he wasn't willing to give that up again. He told people this, even with Paul Jr. and Mikey off of the show American Chopper. Paul Teutul Sr. has found another way to fight with his kids, and he has also tried to stay away from his family. The case that Paul Sr. has filed with the Supreme Court of New York, which is the lowest court in the state, says that the elder Teutul has the right to buy his son's share in Orange County Choppers Holdings, Inc., the company that runs Orange County Choppers. In a letter to Paul Jr., Paul Sr. told him that he was thinking about exercising a stock option that would let him buy Paul Jr.'s share at a price that had been previously agreed upon. According to the complaint, the stock options are worth more than $500,000 and an additional $1 million must be paid as damages. Since leaving Orange County Choppers, Paul Jr. has started his own industrial design firm, and Mikey has been getting help for an alcohol problem. And as a result, Orange County Choppers no longer has Paul Jr. Paul Sr. had told the camera that he does not talk to any of his children and continues to live in his own home, fortress of seclusion with his new wife Beth Dillon. It was also shown in some awkward show candids that Paul Sr. was happy that his sons were no longer working at Orange County Choppers, much to the dismay of the other employees who were still working there. In 2009, Teutul built a dog park in Montgomery, New York, which he used to start his own design firm, Paul Jr. Designs. His first product design was a facelift for Coleman's Road Trip Grill in 2010, which was the event. According to the episode of American Chopper called Stewart's Bike that aired on February 4, 2010, Teutul presented Bamboo Pets with a plan for a line of dog toys. According to a rumor that came out in the middle of April 2010, Teutul wanted to compete with Orange County Choppers by starting his own motorcycle company. Michael Toto, Vinny DiMartino, Joe Pugliafico, and Robert Nub Collard are some of the people who have said this. They had worked for the Orange County Choppers in the past. According to a story from Teutul started making motorcycles at PJD after waiting out a one-year non-compete clause with Orange County Choppers. PJD is now the subject of a new Discovery Channel show called American Chopper, Senior versus Junior. The company that the business directly competes with was founded by Cody Connolly, who left his job at Orange County Choppers to join PJD. In 2014, PJD formed two teams that built two Azeroth choppers. For the video game World of War CFT, which was made by Blizzard Entertainment, Paul Toll met his future wife Rachel Beezer in an episode of American Chopper called Gas Tank Protector McGuff. Rachel Beezer became friends with Paul after she played the McCuff girl on the show. They started dating on August 20, 2010, and after a while, they got married. Rachel Beezer is an American model and business owner who has had a lot of success. In addition to fashion and fashion editorials, she has been in ad campaigns for well-known brands in Montgomery, New York. She owns the Oliver Ann business, which is a booming haute couture business. The store gets a lot of customers every day, so the company can keep a high level of interest all year. Rachel was already famous for her modeling career, but her fame really took off after she got married. Since the couple's relationship became public, Rachel's life has been the subject of a lot of interest. People want to know who she was, how old she was, what she did for a living, and other information about the reality TV star's wife. Rachel's wedding dress was made for the TV show Say Yes to the Dress, and the cake that they had confectioned from the show Cake Chef was used for their wedding. The couple is married and has a son, Hudson Seven Toyle, who was born in February 2015. The family has not moved out of their lovely home yet after all these years. When Paul Teutul Jr. joined the family business and started his role as a star on the American Chopper series, he became famous. As the Toll family continued to grow their chopper business, they started to get some attention because of Discovery Channel became interested in Orange County Choppers a little less than 3 years after True Blue made its debut at the Pictoberfest in 1999. Around the turn of the century, Discovery started to focus on reality shows to try to reach a wider audience. The first episode of American Chopper aired on September 29, 2002. The jet bike was built by Paul Sr. and Paul Jr. In the pilot, the main characters were at Laconia Bike Week in New Hampshire in June 2002, when this bike was supposed to make its debut. But when Paul Jr. skips work to play golf during a crisis, things start to go wrong with the Teutuls from the start. The second pilot aired on January 19, 2003, and gave viewers a more in-depth look at the Teutul family. In this episode, Paul Sr. and Paul Jr. also talked about the American Chopper was one of the first reality shows to document a company's day-to-day activities. From the start, it was clear that the show was about more than just building out-of-Death World helicopters. It would also show how the employees, customers, and family members interacted with each other, which later led to As the show became incredibly popular, the first episode came out on March 31, 2003, and was given a full-time commitment. A lot of the first season was about how the Orange County Choppers team dealt with tight deadlines for their big projects. Paul Sr. was portrayed as the authoritative speaker, and Paul Jr. was portrayed as the son who didn't want to follow the rules. Michael Toll, the youngest son of Paul Sr. and brother of Orange. During the first season of the show, Paul Jr. made his debut as assistant general manager of Orange County Choppers. His main job was to provide comedic relief to the banter between his brother and father. The first book written by Paul Teutul Jr. came out on November 7, 2017, and it was called The Build: My Life of the Choppers Family and Faith. This was a turning point for many people who had been following the narrative of the father and son, who were about to get information straight from the source, showed many of the bad traits they have while being caught on camera. Even worse things seem to have happened behind the scenes. In an interview with the New York Times after the book came out, Paul Teutul Jr. said that the release was supposed to happen in the autumn of 2016. Things didn't go as planned, but he still believes it happened. In every way, the timing was perfect for the book because by the time it came out, the fight between the two parties had gotten a lot of attention. Paul's shop was closed, and everyone was ready to hear his side of the story. In the book, Paul Jr. told the painful truth of being thrust into the spotlight, even though he quickly added that the experience had been mostly positive, except for the fact that he had to do a lot of work. Didn't say that it hurt his relationship with his father. On the first page of his book, Paul Jr. cleared up any questions readers might have had about the truth of the fights. My father and I were often a relational train wreck that proved equally as difficult to turn away from as to how we would end up together. We were often a train wreck for 10 seasons and 233 one-hour episodes. So passionate. So during the first few pages of the book, Paul Jr. takes the reader on a deep look into his childhood and the problems he faced as a child growing up with a man like his father, whom he called a monster. It seems that Paul Sr. struggled with alcoholism, which made it hard for him to connect with his family. On the other hand, the problem seems to be passed down from generation to generation, as Paul Jr. revealed that his father had grown up with an alcoholic mother and parents who fought more than they showed affection for each other. After learning about Paul Sr.'s past, Paul Jr. was able to accept that his father had ended his relationship with his mother and that his father was an alcoholic. He has had a lot of financial success thanks to his motorbike business and the attention he has gotten from being on reality TV. Jr.'s net worth is estimated to be $2 million by Celebrity Net Worth. Page 6 says that in 2020, Scott Gunnels sued his father, Paul Teutul Sr., and his brother, Michael Teutul, for allegedly using his artwork on merchandise for the show Orange County Choppers. The lawsuit was filed for more than $25,000, according to MSN. The family's claim that Paul Jr. was not a party to the lawsuit was unsuccessful. But other companies like Orange County Choppers, Discovery, Inc., and the Pilgrim Media Group were. This is by far the most important case in the history of the show. Recent example of Jr.'s family's ongoing financial problems. Sources say Paul Sr. was sued for fraud in 2018. The lawsuit was filed by a former business partner who said he ruined a TV project that cost millions of dollars. That same year, he filed for Chapter 13 bankruptcy and his home was put under foreclosure. For his restaurant Orange County Choppers Cafe, he is apparently responsible for paying state taxes totaling more than he had to sell some of his own cars to make ends meet. Paul Jr. is estimated to have a net worth of $12 million, with most of his money coming from bike modifications and his TV show. His annual salary is unknown, but based on how successful his career is, it's likely to be in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. His father, on the other hand, has a net worth of $500 million and lives a fancy life with his family. If you like this video, please like and share it, and don't forget to hit that bell to be the first to know when the next video is up.